And so does anyone actually think that Elon Musk has even a puncher's chance of beating Mark Zuckerberg in an MMA competition? Of course not. Coach Greg, and in today's video, you're not going to guess it. It's a natty or not on none other than Mark Zuckerberg. The guy literally invented Facebook, has hundreds or billions, I don't know, more freaking money than last time. Recently, he's been in the headlines as he's challenged Elon Musk to an MMA fighting competition. And many people may be thinking, Mark Zuckerberg, that skinny nerd, you really think he could beat Elon Musk? Elon Musk, a lot bigger. But if you've never seen Elon Musk, he was actually fairly overweight. The guy not really exercising that hard and was carrying a significant amount of body fat. He then later resorted to taking Ozempic, probably starved himself, and then became skinny fat. He lost a lot of fat, but also with that, a lot of muscle. And so what many people may not realize is that Mark Zuckerberg is literally training for MMA. He's doing the boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, and so on. And so he is very athletic. And so if you look at his old photos, you can see the guy's fairly skinny, had a normal level of body fat, but definitely not a six-pack and no bulging muscles anywhere. And so if you look at his photos from the past, he's never carried a lot of muscle. He never had a chiseled six-pack. He never looked like an athlete. But in his most recent photo on Instagram, he's standing next to none other than Alexander Volkanovski, pound for pound best UFC fighter in the world. And to his left, Israel Adesanya, two of the best UFC fighters in the world. And how does he look in comparison? And in comparison to these guys, he's not only standing his own, but may in fact look even better than both of these competitors. Adesanya, who's clearly taller, you can see is carrying a significantly higher percentage of body fat. Mark Zuckerberg, standing relaxed, clearly has a chiseled and defined six-pack. Not only that, well-formed chest, a bicep vein, and so he is looking absolutely phenomenal. Volkanovski, you can see, he clearly has a little bit more muscle, but remember, he's a lot shorter and he's standing closer to the camera, and it's all about angles. If Alexander were standing a couple feet back and Mark Zuckerberg standing closer, Mark would likely look even bigger than Alexander Volkanovski. And as we swipe to look through the three photos, you can see he's not standing and flexing. They're taking these photos. He's not even looking ahead. He's not prepared. Yet you can see exactly how shredded his abdominals actually are. And so in all three photos, he looks clearly shredded. The guy looks absolutely incredible. But only a year ago, he didn't have all this muscle. He was not as chiseled, did not have this much development. And so it begs the question, is Mark Zuckerberg 100% natural? Alexander Volkanovski, you're a beast. Always great to catch up. And so does anyone actually think that Elon Musk has even a puncher's chance of beating Mark Zuckerberg in an MMA competition? Of course not. Oi, what the F? Mark Zuckerberg looks incredible. Rap states Elon got no chance. And I'd have to agree. And so we can't simply assume that Mark Zuckerberg is not natural just because we see him shredded. There are plenty of people in this world that can get a six-pack by training harder than last time and putting in the work. But is he one of them? And so in doing research, looking back, I did see that Mark Zuckerberg was not always what people expect him to be. Many people just think he's a geek, a computer nerd, guy that sits on the computer desk all day long. But nothing could be further from the truth. The guy has been active his entire life, from when he was a kid playing baseball to growing up and being an active skier, also doing wakeboarding, surfing, playing on the water, and basically going out and enjoying life. He likes going to the park, various areas, walking the dog, and so on. And so it's not as though the guy's never done anything his entire life. And so more recently, he's likely highly invested in mixed martial arts. And remember, if he is in fact training with mixed martial arts and combining that with weightlifting, he may in fact have newbie gains. In the first year of training, he could potentially put on a lot of muscle. But Notice how much leaner he's gotten over the last year. It is very difficult to put on both a lot of muscle and decrease body fat at the same time. When you're in a calorie deficit, it is in fact harder to build muscle. And remember, 15% body fat for most people, I do believe that is ideal, but I do think that in these photos, he is below 15% body fat. Can't be for sure as I don't see his back, his quads, hamstrings, and so on, but he does appear to be approaching 12% body fat. You might be thinking maybe it's not 12%. He doesn't have abs the way you see on stage. When we post photos, we flex all our muscles while blowing out our air and get the best lighting possible. This allows us to appear even leaner. And so if I just stood relaxed without flexing, not caring about the photo, you might in fact think, oh, probably 12 or 13%. But you can't see just how lean I am because I'm not flexing. And so Mark Zuckerberg, who's posting photos taken at random, I do believe that this guy is at 12% body fat. And seeing as he decreases body fat, it's unlikely that he would put on a significant amount of muscle. Remember, being good at mixed martial arts has a heavy cardio role. The more muscle you put on, the more difficult it is to do mixed martial arts. You're running, jumping, skipping, wrestling on the ground, boxing. It's very cardio dependent. And seeing as it's so cardio dependent, imagine the number one supplement that Mark should be using, clearly GO2 Max, the main ingredient NMN shown in double-blind, placebo-controlled human studies to have a dramatic improvement in your cardio. And so if you're fighting in MMA or any sport involving your endurance, you are going to notice an immediate improvement in your cardiovascular ability, and so you can go into those later rounds with more energy. And for the average person, imagine you go for a 30-minute walk, you can now walk faster, or you could walk for a longer distance. Now it's time to tell you, do I in fact believe that Mark Zuckerberg is natural, or do I think he is enhanced? And so let me put it to you this way. If you were to challenge one of the most famous people in the entire world in a mixed martial arts fighting competition, would you want every advantage you can get, or would you just not care? I'm just going to go in a fight and I don't care if I win or lose. It's let's just play and have some fun. Or do you want to go and train harder than last time to take every single advantage that you can take to be your absolute best? Mark Zuckerberg is 39 years of age and clearly in the best shape of his entire life. You know someone else who's continued to improve over the years? Mike O'Hearn. Mike O'Hearn in his 50s continue to make improvements. But last I checked, father time, it does in fact get all of us. As you get older, your testosterone levels decline, and it becomes even harder to get into the shape of your life. And remember, Mark Zuckerberg almost has an infinite amount of money. The guy can get, talk to, hire the best coaches in the entire world. And is it a coincidence he's seen hanging out with Vin Diesel? Do you not think that he's ever spoken to people about what they may or may not have used to look their best? Actors, athletes, you name it, he has the opportunity to meet almost anyone. And so do you not think that at any time in his life, perhaps more recently in the last year, that he said, hey, is there anything I can do to optimize my health? Notice optimize. For example, Brian Johnson, the guy who wants to live forever. He is literally on testosterone replacement therapy, also known as HRT. And so if Brian Johnson, who wants to live forever and is being monitored by doctors, spending millions of dollars to be his most optimal self, do you not think that somebody like Mark Zuckerberg would do the exact same thing? If you had millions and millions of dollars, do you not think that you would do everything possible to live your best possible life? And so if that's using HRT, otherwise known as testosterone, then why wouldn't he? When you go on a diet, lower your body fat levels, and you're in a calorie deficit, for the most part, most people will experience a drop in testosterone. And of course, if you're natural, you can use something like G-test or 3-test to naturally boost your testosterone levels, but that can only work for so long. And so is it not possible that he would be taking HRT? You might be thinking, oh, he would never do that. Why would he do that? Why would he not do that? It's perfectly legal. It's not breaking the law. I'm not saying he's on test and tren and D-ball trying to grow into Hercules. But does it not make sense that he would do something like Brian Johnson to optimize his longevity, his health, to optimize his hormones, perhaps feel better while in a calorie deficit, training multiple hours every single day? And so my personal opinion, based on the photo I'm seeing of him right now, in comparison to the other elite level athletes he's with, and comparing that to how he looked a year ago, I personally believe that he's not 100% natural. I'm not saying he's using abusive doses. I simply believe that he is on HRT. And so I do believe it's easier for me to argue, why would he not take HRT, than to argue, why would he? Unless you believe that morally it's not okay to take hormones, when for me personally, I think people as adults should be able to do what they want, especially with the advice and consent of your doctor. And if it allows him to live a happier and healthier life, then why would he not do this? And not only can testosterone help your athletic performance, it also can help you cognitively as well. You have less brain fog, and when you're on testosterone, training hard actually feels better. When you have very low levels of testosterone, it's harder to motivate yourself to go hard. In comparison, when you're on HRT, going harder than last time, studying harder, working harder, whether it's business or pleasure, it simply feels better. And so I'm not saying all you young people out there should start going on HRT, but I'm saying if he is at 39 years of age, training harder than last time, has low body fat levels, and he checked with his doctor, perhaps his testosterone levels were low, and he went on replacement dose of tests while being monitored, then it's going to make his testosterone levels go up. He's going to feel better, be able to train better. And so why would he not do HRT? And so let me know in the comments section. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg is 100% natural? Or do you think he possibly might be on HRT? And so with all these richest men in the world, for example, I did a Natty or Not on Jeff Bezos, do you not think it's possible that somebody like Mark Zuckerberg or perhaps even Elon Musk would eventually go on HRT? And remember, Elon Musk is 52 years of age. And when he recently went on Ozempic and lost all that weight, I do think he lost a lot of muscle. If he had taken HRT while doing the same diet, he perhaps could have kept all his muscle and maybe even built onto it. And so I'm not telling Elon Musk to go on HRT, but obviously I think it's something he should consider. And so Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Happy to help you in your fitness journeys. Ending it here. Like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell button. And of course, watch the tube loops. And of course, if you want to buy any of the supplements, the cookbooks, the clothing line, all of that stuff, code Greg, 10% off. And if you don't have any money, it's still okay. Go to my website, you enter your first and last name and email address, and giving you a free diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. And so everyone, better luck than last time on your health and fitness and weight loss journey. And until next time, I am out.